Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. Seemingly the intro video is broken, so I have no idea what that's about. But yeah, not happened before. Wonder what the outro will be like. Welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. Unfortunately, a terrible result against Middlesbrough on Tuesday. Now Everton in the league, which the league and top four is all that we have to go for.
Can't hear you, Chris.
And I've muted myself. What a brilliant show.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Press the button on this little keypad. Yeah, I'm not sure where we got to because I have no idea when I pressed it. But yeah, terrible result against Boro. Now Everton in the league. League is all we've got to play for. Top four. Typical Spurs. Where have we seen this before? Two great guests. Brian Daigle's joining us a bit later on. Stel was going to come on, but he's not feeling well. So get well soon, Stel. Brad, how you doing, Brad?
Good, thanks, Chris. Good, thanks. Nice to be on a day show for a change and not have to think about, I'm going to go to bed at 1 o'clock tonight or, whatever.
Yeah. And Tommy, who everyone knows, Brad, everyone knows Tommy. How you doing, Tommy?
The benefits of semi-retirement, Brad?
Oh,
definitely.
Semi-retirement,
But yeah, cheers for having me, man. I sort of got over it. It seems like ages ago now, the Boro game. So
it does, doesn't
onwards
it?
And upwards. Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out, Tommy Talks Ball, your channel. Where can people find that?
Yeah, exactly. As you can see, I did the Twitter handles there. Yeah, my follow. If you haven't followed my Twitter handle, you can see my my YouTube channels on my bio. So yeah, but not before you obviously subscribe to Chris here. So yes, I've got something coming up later on tonight. But so make sure you check that out.
Definitely go check that out. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe here. Thanks everybody for watching and all the comments that will hopefully be coming in. 192 subscribers. Terrible result against Boro, so cheer me up, please, by getting me to 200. That would be fantastic.
Wait, that's mad because you're on the exact. You need the exact same as Colin. I think you need the exact same as Colin. He was 8 the other day, I think. So
we'll do mine first, and then go on to Talk and Ball and do his and get us up to 200 at the same time. But
exactly.
Audio Arslan, how you doing, buddy?
America's behind us by about 5 hours, so you can do this one first.
But I mean, Brad, let's start. Middlesbrough teams who sit back. Are there any surprises? Manchester City always going to attack us because they're a better team. We had a lot of counter-attacking opportunities, brilliant chances. Leeds are so open, it's unbelievable. We scored 4, could have been a lot more, really, if we really decided to. Burnley, sit back, lose 1-0. Middlesbrough, sit back, so slow, lose 1-0. Any surprises? To me, it's fairly blatantly obvious. We need a playmaker or someone who can speed the ball up and give the ball to people quicker. But were there any surprises at how the game panned out? Not the result, but how the game panned out against me.
Okay. When I saw the lineup unchanged, I was pleased. I thought, great, we're going with a strong lineup. And no matter what we think of teams with low blocks, we can't beat them, blah, blah, blah. We should have beaten Middlesbrough. This is a 7th place Premiership team playing an 8th place Championship team. We should have beaten them. And I thought, and I've said this, I know it was a very good performance, and Middlesbrough at the end deserved to win, definitely. But for the first 20, 25 minutes, we were trouble. We had the ball, we were passing it around. And I'm thinking to myself, watching the game, we've got to score. We've got to score because they will suddenly think, hang on a minute, they're not hurting us. Tottenham aren't hurting us. And they will grow into the game and they'll get more and more confident. And that's exactly what happened. And in the end, they deserved to win. They created more chances. We had a couple of good chances. I mean, what's the name? Doherty had that chance, missed that, and then Sunrod at the end. Sunrod at the end. Yeah. So I'm really disappointed, but I have to say, not surprised. That's the thing. I'm not surprised. I think we should have won, but the fact that we lost, I'm not surprised. It just seems to be Tottenham all season.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, what did you make of the game? Like Brad, I thought, I can't remember if it was your channel or my channel or whatever channel it was, but keep the same lineup as the Leeds game. That's what he did. So I was quite happy there. But I always thought it'd be a tough game just because it's Chris Wilder. He gets his teams compact, disciplined, know what they do. And without a playmaker with teams who sit back, by the time we get forward, everybody's back behind the ball. Completely different to Leeds, who just opened the gates of the whole game completely and let us play through them at free will. But what were your reactions of the lineup and of the game as a whole, obviously the result is going to be fairly indicative of that.
I think I'm in a different place to most Spurs fans when it comes to the lineup. I know when you win a game, you sort of want to keep the same lineup. I get that, but it was Leeds, and I feel like you need to manage the squad, especially when you've got burnt out players that get burnt out really quickly. And Kulusevski, 4 games in 10 days, 21 years old. I feel like maybe Bergwijn should have come in. I definitely would have put Lucas in if he was fit. And I felt like it was good time to get Reggie back into the fold, because Reggie's our best wing back. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's our best wing back. I think he's had a pretty good season, to be honest with you. I would put him back in there for that game. Good place to come back from his, I think it's COVID. He had COVID. Yeah. So, and then you can decide in the Everton game which one you want. Do you want Reggie or do you want Cess? And almost certainly Kulusevski comes back in for the Everton game. I think you've got to manage the team sometimes. I don't think you can just say we won to keep the same team. I don't think you can say that when it's the FA Cup, when you've got to manage a squad. We've seen what injuries have done to us already. We've only got 2 centre midfielders to choose from. And that comes to, playing games after playing. Skip at 21 years old, we kept playing him. I know we were forced to, but 21 to keep playing 3 or 4 games, in 10 days. In 10 days is just not what we should be doing. We need to game manage. But in terms of the performance, like Brad said, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. Do you know what though? I think we disrespect Championship teams. We do disrespect Championship teams, and the problem was then the players respected Middlesbrough.
But that all comes down to attitude,
thinking it was a walkover. Yeah, but we can as fans because we're not playing, so we can disrespect Boro. It doesn't matter. But they're paid professionals, so they shouldn't be disrespecting them. But I do think we overly disrespect them as fans when the run they're going on under Chris Wilder since he's been in charge. I think they were 14th before, so they're on a promotion row. They could very much be in the Premier League this time next season. 3 teams will come out of the Championship and be in the Premier League next season. That's a fact. So, and we know how well they do. Leeds finished 9th in their first season. I know they're not doing so great now. In the top 10 in the Premier League, that's not easy. Sheffield United, under Chris Wilder, was 8th or 9th in their first season in the Premier League. So we can't disrespect these teams. These are good teams, and you have to be at a level to beat them. We should beat them, of course, but we need to be at a level. And we were not in for that game. We were not ready for that game. There were some performances all over the pitch that were nowhere near good enough. Winks, I don't expect much more from Winks, but Son, probably his worst ever performance for us. Romero was no good. He was really bad. He struggled the last 3 games. People don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. That's the honest truth.
Sorry, go on.
No. Carry on, Brad.
Yeah, I guess we'll get on to Son, who is allowed a bad game. Let's be fair.
Yeah, of course.
But when we're trying to break low block teams, one of the things you can do is shoot from distance, and we've got 2 of the best in the Premiership, in Kane and Son, at shooting from distance. And Sonny, whenever he got the ball, I'm expecting him to go onto his right foot and curl that shot in like he normally does. But every time he got the ball on Tuesday night, he never did it. He went to the left. And that so that really got me, because you've got to try things. If you aren't getting through and they're not letting you through, then you've got to have things like simple things like having a shot, and they didn't do it. So it just really, really annoying.
Do you know what I noticed? With Sonny? Right. Whenever he does the basics, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
Son, but he overthinks things sometimes. When he keeps playing games, he overthinks things. I saw it at the end of last season under Jose. I was like, this guy's burnt out. The guy's burnt out. His form's dipped. So you need to get him out of the team. And Jose Mourinho was playing him against Wolfsburger on the weekend, Dynamo Zagreb. He was never getting a rest. Son is the type of player that needs a rest. Unlike Kane, he relies on speed, Son. And he, as you said, he overthinks things. If he just does the basics right, coming into his right foot, he's the best. He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
So I see that, and he was he looks like he's burnt out. Hopefully he's got 5 or 6 days rest now for the Everton game. Hopefully that's enough, and hopefully he can put one up Dele Alli and Hitchin. Brian, what's going on, man? Brian, what's going on?
How you doing, Brian?
All good, people. All good. It's wonderful to be back on this channel. Stress-free.
Wonderful to have you back. But let's bring you down to earth for a little bit. Middlesbrough game. What were your thoughts? Let's start with the negatives, and then we'll move to the Everton, which hopefully will be a positive. But yeah, Middlesbrough, none of us were surprised. What were your thoughts on the lineup and then the game as a whole?
I'm so happy you've asked me that question after we've gone past 10 minutes. I'm so happy.
Oh, it's 12. It's 12, isn't it?
So happy. I couldn't have timed this better.
It's not 10 minutes for you, so you've still got another 10.
Okay,
I'm only joking. You can say what you want.
Mate, first of all, I won't take any pieces of advice from a guy wearing a bloody red shirt. So,
I didn't even notice that. Oh, that's not
for
good.
that, my 10 minutes are fucking gone. There we go. Done. Wicked. No, listen. With Middlesbrough, it's been done to death. But what I will say is, listen, what's annoying me most about Middlesbrough is I'm shocked that people are shocked.
Mm.
That's the thing. People are going absolutely mad. Oh my God, how can we do that? It's very obvious how we can do this. We've shown this time after time, year after year, season after season, that we have, and I've spoken about a lot of the mentality of this squad is absolutely beyond a joke. Beyond a joke. I'm going to go see my nephews and niece for the last time after that. My niece has got chicken pox and she's got a better attitude than some of those players. It was another woeful performance. This is a difference. If you remember, during the Pochettino era, whether we went out a cut or whatever, there was always, they gave their best. They crossed that white line, and there was but you look at Mura, you look at Colchester with Pochettino, that was near the end, so you could say that was the players doing what they did or whatever. They knew what was coming. Mura, Middlesbrough, the Burnley performance, Dinamo Zagreb. These players walk in. Some of these players in this squad just think, "Oh, we're Tottenham Hotspur. This is Burnley or Mura. We can just act like a training ground kickabout because we're just our quality will shine through." And you don't do that. You don't do that. But what's annoying is there's only a few players on the pitch that will go, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" As opposed to the teams that we've seen before, where there's people that will literally go absolutely mental and crazy at people for even acting or thinking that they can put in a performance like that and disrespect the opposition like that. And it was probably the most boring game of football I have seen.
That first half was hard to watch.
You know what? So I was in the studio with Ben and Simeon for the watch along, and I didn't sleep well the night before. I got a few hours, but not a decent hours. I was literally falling asleep. You're probably seeing me. I was like, "Listen, look, no." And I was yawning. I didn't want to.
That's with cameras in front of you. That's with tons of people in the chat,
And then we did the fan show, and the fan show, I could barely stay awake. I was like, I wanted to be there, and I was going to stay there for the whole of it. I would have been there for 5 hours if it'd gone on for 5 hours. But I was just like, and I had to be very, very careful because obviously I could have said a lot of stuff and gone completely nuclear. But I didn't want to do that on their channel when I'm in the studio with them. It's not fair on the boys. So yeah, it's just as I keep saying, it's just another day in paradise.
Yeah, I mean, Audio Artisan here. I think this relates to your comment on Son, Tommy. Dribbling and taking a man on is a big problem with pretty much everyone in the squad. But I think that points to a problem that links to that and links to, the fullbacks always going backwards and links to all of the teams that Brian's rattled off there, the Movers, the Colchesters and everything. And I'll sound like a broken record here. And I think it's to do with a playmaker and a lack of one. The only playmaker we've got is Kane. But teams have worked him out a little bit now. If you sit back, there's no space for him to come deep and then pass balls left, right, centre and through. So even the Colchester game, that was either when Ericsson had left or he wanted to leave and Poch wasn't playing him. But the fact remains we still didn't have a playmaker. We didn't have one against Mura and Burnley and Middlesbrough on Tuesday. These teams all sit back. When we play teams like Leeds, who are so open, Man City, who are far the better team, who attack us, then there's space for the counter. Kane can come deep. People don't pick him up. Kulusevski, Kane, Mora, Bergwijn, whoever's playing up there, can make runs into space. So I was having a debate with Stell about this. He says we need 7 or 8 players. I don't disagree with that at all. But I think, not that it would sort us out and get us to, we're now Premier League title challengers, but I think a playmaker would help us immensely. It wouldn't solve all our problems, far, far, far from it. But I think against teams who sit back, they speed the game up. And you look at people like Doherty, if you compare him to Walker in the Poch era, and I'm not saying for 1 second that if we got Ericsson in, Doherty is Carl Walker, but Carl Walker got the ball fairly quickly. The ball from Eriksen is pinged to him fairly quickly, and all of a sudden he's 1-on-1. You look at Doherty, Sessegnon, Reguilon, it's 2 against 1. They have no choice but to go back, and then we have to build up again. And teams who sit back then have their 2 banks of 4, and they're compact again. But it wouldn't
Chris,
solve
can I
all
read
our
you
problems,
something?
but it would solve a big problem, I think.
I'm going to read you now for everyone, and let's see what you all think. This is a message that I got sent by my dad's best mate, who's diehard Spurs. I keep getting told the story during the 81 FA Cup final with Man City, the replay. My dad and him watched it together when I was downstairs. I was a 2-year-old, and they did a bottle of whiskey in about 20 minutes. So I hear this story all the time between them after Villa's goal. He's a mad Spurs fan, mad. And he sent this message to me, which said, Galini, Doherty, Royale, Winks, Pierre, Stevie B, Lucas, Sanchez, Rodon all need replacing. So that is 9 replacement signings needed before we even begin to strengthen the team. We are also 4 or 5 players short in numbers in the squad. How can we expect to sign 14 players we need to do a rebuild? We tend to only sign average players on the last day of the window, so Conte will not have a squad for proper pre-season training. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I think Conte will say this is unfixable and go.
Can I just say he's forgot about Ndombele, Gil, and Lo Celso, who will be coming back. They will be coming back as well.
So you can have those players, but
17. You can say 17.
Yeah,
Gil looks all right, but apparently Valencia want him for another season. So, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, your response to that in a minute, but Ali Gold's video yesterday, and I sent a message to Ali Gold. His video yesterday was the best I've ever seen. It was really, absolutely outstanding. And what I love, and I have to thank Ali Gold for this, he basically said everything I've been saying for about 7 months, but he said it in a diplomatic, calm report. That's why he gets paid to do what he does, because he can say it in a manner that approaches everyone rather than me going rah, 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 rah. It was an outstanding video. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that from my dad's best mate?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that we need a load of players, but the fact is, and we know this, we're not going to get 14 players. We probably won't get 4. But I personally think, and I believe this 100%, whether people disagree or whatever. But if we got a playmaker, I think it would make a huge difference, because then the fullbacks would get the ball quicker, Son would get the ball quicker, and you wouldn't turn Doherty into, Kyle Walker or anything like that, but he would be like he was at Wolves, able, because he's going forward and getting the space to whip the ball in, which is what made him a top player at Wolves, second assister in fullbacks, only behind Alexander-Arnold. But we need far more. But like I say, we're not going to get far more. So I think a playmaker is essential. And for that reason, I think it could make a lot of players look a lot better than they are. Certainly with, Doherty should be scoring that goal. Any player, any professional footballer who gets paid 5 figures should be able to pass the ball into an empty net. But I think in his general play, he'd be a lot better, because he'd get the ball quicker. Son would get the ball quicker and do what Son was doing under the Pochettino era, which is getting the ball one-on-one instantly, skinning him, and then you've got people running in, and then someone has to come out because Son's just skinned a defender. So I think a playmaker is absolutely essential in the summer, and I think it could help with a few other positions, but we do need other positions. But yeah, Brad.
What needs to happen is you only have to look at the first team under Pochettino that almost won the title. You just, Lloris, Walker, Rose, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Wanyama, Dembele, or you could throw in Eric Dyer there, Son, Kane, Eriksen, Dele Alli when he was playing well. There's not a bad player there in that first 11. The reason we didn't win the title is because we didn't have the strength in depth when those players were injured. Now, what players in today's team could you say would be in a competing for the title team? Probably Lloris, Romero, probably Kane, Son, Skip, because he's you've got to give Skip a chance, and you can't really have a go at Benzema and Kulusevski, because they've only just joined. That's not a lot of players. So to replace all of those players and get a first, that's a big window. So you've got to have to hope that you get enough players in to make a quality side for next season to be up there for top 4 the whole season, maybe get third, have a cup run. And then that encourages to buy more players for the following season. So you get to a stage in, say, the next 2 or 3 seasons where we are challenging for the title. That's what happened under Pochettino. And that's what they have to do. If you do it that way, if you get, as Brian was saying, the average players that we've signed, get 2 or 3 or 2 decent players and make that team go up a level. And then the following window, you get a couple more players and just keep going up. That means that Kane will stay because he can see a future. That means Conte will stay because he can see a future. And that's what has to happen. And it has to happen, as we keep saying, before the season starts, before we go to South Korea, so that we're all bedded in before the season starts. But whether that will happen or not, well, I have my doubts. As I think you've said many times, Brian, the leopard never changes its spots. Yeah. And, I have my doubts.
Yeah. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's all right. No problem. Tommy, we'll come to Mark in a second with his thoughts on the Boro game and Brian's comments. But yeah, just for your reference, Mark O'Brien listed off, I'm going to say about 42 players. It was about 14 that we need to get rid of. But Tommy, your thoughts on Brian's comment there of the players that need to go? And then obviously that didn't include the Ndombele's, the Celso coming back like you mentioned.
Well, we all know there are a hell of a lot of players that we need to go. What was alarming, what was especially alarming in the January window is, as I said, we only got rid of one. We only got rid of one permanently. That is alarming. And for me, everything starts from the back. Everything starts from the back line. Chris, I agree. We need a playmaker to a certain extent, but I don't think we do in many ways under Conte. I think under Conte, you need wing backs that are dominant, because against Leeds, our wing backs were dominant. You didn't need the centre midfielders as much. We didn't see so much. We didn't see so much. I'm just saying we didn't see so much of Højbjerg and Skip. Højbjerg and Winks. Højbjerg and Winks.
We saw more of Skip than some people who were playing in that team.
I'm struggling because we didn't see more of them. I mean, I'm struggling because we didn't see more of them. If the wing backs work like they did against Leeds, then you don't need the centre midfielders to rip through defensive lines. Hello, mate. And then the back line needs to push up. The right centre back and left centre back in the Conte system should be attacking, but the line's so deep that we can't. They can't attack. So wing backs and the defensive line, it starts from there, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. As I said, we've got the wing backs to get through Leeds, but we need wing backs to get through some of the bigger teams, because Cesc, Doherty, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it, unfortunately. Emerson, certainly not. So I think you start from the back. And if you've got the wing backs close to the wingers, because they're going to be a lot closer to the wingers in the Conte system, then there's your attack. So, there are a ton of things we need. We need to get rid of four centre-backs in the summer. I wanted to lose at least one in January just to get it going, just to get it moving. But the reality, we sold one player. That's it. One player we sold in January, and that's hard. That's hard to get your head around. A lot of things need to happen. A lot of things need to happen this summer. But yeah, we're getting 4 maximum, Chris. That's what you said. You said 4 maximum. That's what it's going to be.
Well, that's me being positive. It won't be 4. It'll probably be 1.5.
And if it is, it'll be a 19-year-old and a backup goalkeeper. Another 18, 19-year-old, another backup goalkeeper. Things that we don't really need.
The future, the future that we've never seen and never will see.
A couple of comments here. Mark Cousins, how you doing, Mark? Afternoon, lads. At least the weekend won't be ruined. No, Monday will, and next week will. And Audio asks down a couple of comments. Balancing the squad will be very difficult due to the homegrown rule. I reckon we ditch Galini, give Austin and White decent contracts, try to sell.
Do you know what? Galini's homegrown. Do you know what Galini counts as homegrown? Because Man United. No, he's Man United. Man United. He grew up at Man United as a youth player, didn't he? So he actually counts as homegrown.
I don't think he does, Tommy. I don't think he does. I think he just missed out on it due to when he went. Because I know you're right about Man United, but I'm sure when we signed him, they said he doesn't class. I thought
he certainly does. I'll have a
look, mate. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Hopefully he doesn't, because then we can just boot him out straight away. There's no reason to keep him.
An Audio artisan has said English players of the quality need will be expensive. Simply Ace then comes on. How you doing, Simply Ace? We need more than one playmaker, 2 central defenders, playmaker, right back, left wing back, backup striker to challenge for a cup and top 4. Over to you, Daniel. Oh, he's left the building. But Mark, you've known me for quite a long time. You know, I've been banging this drum for years and years and years. Playmaker is essential for me, and I think it will help the team a lot. We obviously, like Simply Ace said, like Stel was saying when I was speaking to him yesterday, we need a lot more, but this is Daniel Levy, this is Tottenham, and we ain't going to get a lot more. We'll be lucky to get a playmaker, and that's it. But I think a playmaker could not transform us, but certainly we've got a real issue here. If teams sit back, we've got no hope. We're just too slow. You know, pass, side. It's like a football team we're playing against. All they have to do is move those 2 banks for left and right. I think a playmaker would help us immensely, but we do obviously need a lot more. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the Boro game and about the whole what we need in the summer and what we're not going to get or will get?
I said in January that if you speak to one person, they'll tell you we need this position. If you speak to someone else, they'll tell you another position. I know you've always said ever since Eriksen left, we need the playmaker. And that's the problem. We need so many positions. My thing was we needed a backup striker. You've said a playmaker. Tommy's just said a wing back, which I agree with all of them. That's the problem. There's so much work that needs doing. We need 2 right wing backs. We need 2 central defenders, at least. We need a playmaker. We need a backup striker. That's just the beginning for me. That's just like that. We probably need another left wing back as well.
You've so mentioned at least 6 positions there. We ain't getting 6. This is Daniel Levy. We ain't getting 6. So it comes to what do you need? And like you say, I say we need a playmaker. You'll say we need something else. Brian will say something different. The only one that really matters is Conte because he knows what he needs. Will he get that?
And that's where I agree with Tommy. I think that the wing backs are so vital to Tommy's tactics, to Conte's tactics, and Tommy's as well.
Conte walks, Tommy might be the new
It sounds
man.
like we all go up my channel.
I'm just giving you ideas, mate. I'm giving you ideas.
I'll take that. I'll note that. I've got my notepad here. I'll note that.
Yeah, I have to say, Mark, you've got a very big Andy Roddick look today.
Andy Roddick. I'll take that. I'll take that, mate. He won a few things, didn't he?
So,
yeah, exactly. That's what we're hoping. Let's bring in people that have won things in other sports and just hope they can do it.
Yeah, just rub off on that. Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Clive Woodward.
Clive Woodward. England tried to bring him in, didn't they? Do you remember?
Yeah.
After you won the World Cup with England. Yeah, but there's so much, mate. Middlesbrough. It's just, we've seen it so many times now, haven't we? I said it on Tommy's stream the other day. You beat Man City, you go and lose to Burnley. You beat Leeds, you go and lose to Middlesbrough. It's just a cycle of shit, really. I've been banging on the drum that of course we can make top 4. Of course we can do it. I never thought that I always said Man United were the favourites. I don't know. I think unfortunately Arsenal are now. We can still do it, but look, that's just blind faith because we know what happens with this team when it comes to the big moments. They always bottle it, unfortunately. So, and Middlesbrough was a big game. I really wanted to win the FA Cup. I'm sick of not having won the FA Cup since 1991. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And it was such a big opportunity.
We saved ourselves, Mark, because we'd have only played Chelsea again.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. We'd have only lost
8-0 on aggregate. 8-0 on aggregate in 4 games this season, Chelsea.
Well, due to beat them, though. We were due to beat them.
Just disappointing as usual, you know.
Daryl's got in touch internal players, and we need them all to gel. I think if we needed players to gel, that's one thing that we've got right because it means we've bought players. So one step at a time. Mark Cousins, typical Tottenham, rumoured we're replacing Eriksen with Eriksen.
He's a free, isn't he? He'll be a free.
And Simply Ace, prediction here from Simply Ace: we'll get one player on loan, a cheap player from Serie A on the final day of the transfer window. They'll be from Juventus.
Will Conte stick around? If that's the case, do you reckon Conte will stick around with another poor transfer market?
No. I don't think if he isn't back by the end of June, I think he walks.
I agree.
Yeah. If he hasn't got his team in place for pre-season training, I think he walks. Because I don't think he's bothered about being paid off.
No,
he's not.
I honestly think he's had enough of them, hasn't he? So he don't really need any more.
He'll ask him about the predetermined targets as well, because, like he done it into last season. What are the targets this summer? And if it doesn't meet his requirements, he's gone, like he did it into Milan. before the market even opens. So I think that's a good point.
But who do you think? Well, what do you think we need, Alan? And will we get them? And what were your thoughts just on the Middlesbrough game in general?
Well, who we need is it's called Bob the Builder. Yeah, to build the bricks in front of the goal, so we can't let any more in. Because, to be honest with you, we're just so poor at the moment.
Yeah, have to change ends at half time, though, Alan.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll get a forklift truck and lift them up the other end afterwards. I mean, I'm not being funny, but only one team on Wednesday came out to want to win that, or Tuesday. Only one team wanted to win that. One team. There was two teams on the pitch, but one team wanted to win it. The other one came on the pitch thinking they were going to win it. And you don't win a game thinking you're going to win it. You've got to put the effort in. I mean, every time one of our players the ball went into midfield, whoever was on the ball, Boro had 2, if not 3 players chasing him down. I mean, I'll tell you something. I don't know. I didn't see the team sheet properly with Middlesbrough, but did they have more than one player called Howson? Because every time I heard the commentary, all I heard was Howson.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens in cup games. We talked earlier about disrespecting championship teams. These are teams with nothing to lose. They're expected to lose 7th in the Premier League or whatever we are. They're expected to lose. And this is how giant killings happen. It's been happening since the dawn of football. One team who are the better team on paper think, we'll turn up, we've won this game. The other team who have nothing to lose think we've got nothing to lose. Let's try and keep it tight. And, their attitude is better and then that happens. But yeah,
he covered more blades of grass on Tuesday night than I think Winks has done all season.
The disappointing thing for me was when we lost to like Moore and stuff, we were saying that was our backup team and we couldn't rely on the backup team. We can't even fucking rely on the first team anymore.
No. But the annoying thing is, Mark, and this is so annoying, there's only one player on that pitch the other night that didn't play against Man City. We beat Man City. And we didn't. Our usual performances against Man City, they have looked like they can always turn us over and we've sneaked it. That was one of our best performances against Man City. One player was different.
And it's exactly the same team that beat Leeds a few days before as well.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, at the moment, I would put the trouble with Leeds is they always leave. They're like Man City, but they're not organised at the back. Yeah. The difference was Boro were organised at the back.
Yeah.
I mean, if Boro played Leeds tomorrow in a league match, even though they're not in the same league, but if they played them, and Boro played anything like they did, Leeds ain't coming away with anything.
But again, it comes back to I'm banging the drum. I constantly will be, but teams who sit back, we haven't got that playmaker. We haven't got anyone to speed the game up and get the ball quickly when there isn't any space. And by the time we do, there's no space. Leeds, Man City, always attacking us, so we can play on the counter attack. But let's move on to Conte before we do audio artisan. Wing backs, such a new position. There aren't many legit ones around at the moment. It's probably best to try and create your own. That's exactly what he did with Victor Moses and what I predicted when he turned up he'd do with Sessegnon. His injuries could hamper that. The ones that are doing very well are overpriced.
It's a very good point.
Yeah,
it's a very good point because people say, well, there aren't many wing backs around to sign. Well, there aren't because it's a specialised position. So you have to adapt a right winger or what should be easier, a fullback in today's day. And fullbacks are naturally more attacking. These days, so you've got to adapt that. So there are no out and out wing backs really, unless you're looking at Chelsea, who play 3 at the back too, and a couple of other teams. So it's a very good point from audio. So you have to look at the traits and attributes of maybe a right back and a right winger if you're looking at a right wing back. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I thought he'd do that with Sessegnon. I remember talking to you, Tommy, ages ago now, thinking that Bergwijn could be the right sided option. That hasn't simply happened. Simply Ace has said Conte in the post-match after the Middlesbrough game was laughing at our mixed form. He's fed up. But my question is this, Brad. It's not a question. This is just a banner, but the question will come. Conte's substitutions were quite strange. Bergwijn made a difference when he came on, but he came on after about 78 minutes, and then in injury time when we're chasing the game, he's got Dane Scarlett on there. He gives him 4 minutes, and then he brings a wing backs on. So, in my mind, and I was saying this to the pub with the people that I was with, Conte has to take some blame for that result as well. Obviously, the players were terrible, but he can laugh at our mixed form. But I think he got a lot wrong in that game.
I think after the first 10 minutes of the second half, you knew that there had to be some changes. And I agree, Bergwijn, when he came on, did try and do a few things and probably should have come on earlier. I just wonder whether he was expecting extra time and brought him on with that in regards. So he's not actually coming on for 10 minutes, he's actually coming on for 40 minutes. I'm not saying that I agree with that, but I'm just wondering whether that was his thinking. And certainly in extra time, you can't bring Dane Scarlett on for 4 minutes and hope he's going to, change the game. Bring him on at half time or extra time, 20. Do that. So, Conte is not beyond criticism. He's a great manager. Of course he is. He's got the record. But you can be critical of him, and I think he should have made substitutions earlier. The only thing I will say, as I just said, maybe he was thinking of extra time because it will give him 40 minutes rather than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
in terms of that, sorry, Alan.
Sorry, I was going to say we've all been piping on about it for a while now. We could really do with going in a 3-5-2. Yeah. The trouble is, we never had the player unless you bring Harvey White on and throw him into the lion's den to come on Tuesday. Yeah. So he decided to go to these what he thought might get away with would be a 4-4-2. Unfortunately, that didn't work either.
He changed his formation about 3 times, didn't he? He started off with 3 at the back, then 2 at the back, and when Middlesbrough got on top, then he changed to 3 again, then they scored and he changed it to 2 again. Yeah. I'm talking about central defenders there, not 2.
But a lot of it's because we haven't
attacking in 10.
A lot of it.
But in fairness, if he hadn't tried to change it, we'd have been criticising him for not trying to change it. So I think he was trying.
We can see why 4 at the back doesn't work now, though. We can see why we were worse. We really were worse. They should have scored 2 goals. I know it's from set pieces, but Brooks, was it Brooks or Crooks? Crooks should have scored completely free header. Howson should have scored completely free header. They should have won that before extra time even took place. But Ashraf puts in the chat, and I'm on the same thoughts. Like, but even before the game started, Conte just looked sort of depressed, like run out of energy. Not surprising, the amount of energy he puts into a 90-minute game on the touchline. But it's like he just looked down. I've never seen Conte that down at Inter, at Chelsea. It was concerning. It was concerning.
What did you think of his substitutions? Because Brad makes a good point there, maybe extra time, but this is a winner. Like, sod extra time. Go for the win in 90 minutes. Don't worry about another 30 minutes. Go for the winner in normal time. Bring all your big hitters, your attacking players or your changes to try and get some attack in, and do that 60 minutes and go for the kill for the next 30. And just before that, Mark Cousins has got an answer to our right back situation. Stephen Carr, he must not have a club at the moment. But
Pamaro, Stalteri. What's Stalteri up to, Brian? What's Stalteri? He's Canada way, isn't he?
I'm going to be speaking with him when I get back. So I'll let you know when I'll see if he's available. I mean, who knows? I mean, Brad, he's meant to be coming down to the Scotland Yard during the summer to do a Q&A. So I'm going to try and push it for the week of May the 23rd to May the 30th.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
We're doing a straight swap with Royal, and Royal will be Scotland Yard next season.
We're also in talk with hopefully who came to open Toronto Spurs officially. Was obviously the basketballer, MVP and Hall of Famer and diehard Tottenham fan Steve Nash. Oh yeah. So hopefully there's going to be but mate. Believe me, I'll tell you a quick story about Steve Nash. Steve Nash is adored in Canada, like adored. And I told my wife, listen, I'm going to be meeting Steve Nash. Oh, my God, could you get me a signature? You get me a signature. So I went one better than that, and I got me and him, and I said to him, and he said, hey, Ilona, how you doing? Shame I missed you. Maybe I'll see you here for another game. Love to see you. Come on, you Spurs. And sent it to her. And then she had a go at me for not getting his autograph. I've got you a personalised top-down video. No one in the world has got this.
But you ignored her initial instructions.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I do. I tried to go one better for her, but then I just realised I just stick to what she says.
Yeah. Just do as you're told, Bri. That's the
But,
best way
he-
to do it,
yeah,
mate.
Is he a coach,
so-
Brian? He's a coach for Knicks. Is it the Knicks, New York?
he's actually been doing a lot of with the Golden State Warriors or whatever they're called, the ones that have the one that Toronto, I'm sure it's them, the one that Toronto beat in the Raptors beat in the NBA final. I think it was the ones that have won it recently for quite a few years. It was him, but obviously he's got money in a Spanish football team. And I did ask him, did he want to pull out his euros and change them to pounds? And yeah,
he has said in the past. He has said in the past that he wants to do a consortium to buy Tottenham. I've read that in the past.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
I heard similar.
He's actually a great guy. So Brad, you may see a superstar. Well, you're coming to see me, so
that'd be great.
but yeah, no. But yeah, so
Cody Mack. Oh, Cody Mack's going to be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cody will be there. Cody's definitely going to come down. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just went way off key because Paul Stalteri's name got mentioned.
Actually, Brian, now that you mentioned basketball, I mean, I think that Tottenham should be forced to watch The Last Dance back to back, because that, to me, I've never really followed basketball at all. That, to me, was inspiring with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one you want to watch as well is Amazon did an All or Nothing with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I love ice hockey. I don't understand the rules. It's too quick for me. It's what I'm trying to. I love the sport, but I just want to understand the rules better so I can fully. But the Amazon documentary, my God, not only does it show Toronto in all its glory, like the city and the skyline, blah, 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 but it really goes behind the scenes a lot more, see what the coaches are. It's a lot
What's
more.
On? What is it on?
It's on Amazon. So on Amazon, it's one of their All or Nothing for the Maple Leafs.
Are they still allowed punch-ups? Can they still have punch-ups in NHL?
Mate,
they don't have them that often now.
Yeah,
I went
to a fight and a game of ice hockey broke out. Yeah,
mate, exactly, Fred. But yeah, I mean, that was look at the smiles that are on all this panel because we're not talking about Spurs. Let's bring it back to the.
Let's get depressed again. So
let's get it.
Said,
no, I mean,
counter-attacking.
Batman's coming out. I think Batman's out tonight, isn't it? Batman's released tonight.
It's meant to be really good. It's meant to be really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. Simply Ace. If you want to play counter-attacking football, you've got to press the opposition or you'll fail. Middlesbrough game, perfect example of this, not pressing enough. And then also, squad should be forced to watch Champions League final 2019 celebrations every time they lose. Oh dear.
What?
Yeah. But
you missed Iggy. You've missed Iggy, haven't you?
I put him on screen earlier. Iggy's in the chat.
Right, okay.
What's up, brother?
That's Iggy. What's cracking?
In terms of Conte, Brian, do you think he deserves criticism for those substitutions? We'll move on to Everton after we've gone around the room about Conte. But because for me, I mean, you can argue the fact that he's proven a point to Levy, but at this moment in time, Levy can't do anything, and ignore the fact that Levy won't do anything. But at this moment in time, he cannot do anything generally because the window's closed. I just think the substitutions were made too late, and Dane Scarlett getting a 4-minute cameo, it should have been at least 20 for me.
So the way I look at this, and I've been saying this, he is definitely in for criticism. He doesn't, just because it's Antonio Conte and he is without doubt the best manager we've had. I don't mean medal-wise, but I mean at the peak of his pinnacle of power, he is the best manager we have ever had. And I include Bill Nicholson in that because Bill Nicholson grew into the great man. He wasn't appointed as like the be-all and end-all. He's got to come into some criticism for his formation. He's got to start taking criticism. And I've said it, we do not have to play. Don't get me wrong. Antonio Conte playing 3-4-3 wins Premier Leagues, wins Serie A's, gets Italy as far as they went and playing the football they did. But all those teams have players that can play that football and have the football intelligence and they're at a certain level in their game where they will adapt to what a manager tells them to do. And they've got the football brain and intelligence and determination and dedication to put the work in. We've seen under previous managers that listen, if they're not happy, let's just chuck a wobbly and we'll get the manager out and we'll start afresh. And that's what he's left with. So Conte, I feel, should be turning out. I mean, one of the things I think he should have been doing, and if Everton is Harry Winks and Højbjerg at the start because Bentancur doesn't make it, I'm going to be going batshit crazy. I'd rather see an Alfie Devine or a Harvey White instead of Harry Winks, because we've seen time after time after time after time, he just can't do it. Unless it's against the Leeds, where they're going to come attack, which I don't think Everton will do, and I'll talk about that when we talk about Everton.
I disagree, but we'll talk about that when we come to talk about the
Listen, I don't care. Well, you're in a red shirt today. Whatever you say is none of mine. So,
I have the power.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you say
the
the
power to remove you.
That's a fact, Chris.
You sounded like He-Man there. You just had to go by the power of Grayskull. But yeah. So with the substitutions, listen, the bench is so weak and it's so poor. And
pretty much exactly what Kuva says here. So I'll just read this. Who else was he going to bring on? Couldn't do anything about midfield, where we had no control other than bring on youngsters. He'd have been slaughtered if they failed too. Our bench was poor.
The only proven player was Bergwijn. Lucas was out. Lucas was out. Scarlett, no professional go. Emerson
but Tommy,
lost the game basically, didn't he? By staying onside.
You've got to look as well. For the first 10-15 minutes that Bergwijn on, he created more in 10-15 minutes.
I thought he was our best player in the game, and he was only on from 78 minutes.
And it comes to this point as well where when people are saying it's all good because we've got a week off now between games, it's so much better because now these Premiership elite athletes can't manage 2 games a week. Which is sad. When you actually hear reporters saying, can Tottenham manage, and even Conte saying 2 games a week is too much, that just goes to show what is the fundamentally wrong at this football club. And when it was really bad against Wolves, when we were there, he made a change within 20 minutes or 26 minutes. I think Kulusevski came on. He saw a problem. He identified it. So if he does see a huge issue, we know he will do it and make a substitution as soon as that. I think he's just looking at that bench and going, what can I do? You can't. These players went into that game with a lack of ambition, a lack of respect, a lack of motivation, just because it was Middlesbrough away on a Tuesday night. You can't train that into someone. You can't say, listen, talk your fucking head out. This is just as important as playing a Man City away to try and win it. You can't do that. No. But Conte should have made it. The lack of attacking, I would have brought Bergwijn on a lot earlier. I would have brought Bergwijn on at half time, to be honest. So he does need to take some criticism for the formations, which just aren't working. But the substitutions, I just feel he's like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah,
he hasn't got the tools. If you haven't got the tools, you can't fix the problem.
No, we've got a couple of comments.
Scarlett coming on with 4 minutes to go was just like a last throw of the dice. Wasn't it? Let's try this.
Yeah. But a couple of comments here. Simply as Conte's made some errors, bringing on subs too late, playing counter-attack footballs against lesser teams. Capitals makes no sense. We should be dominating possession against lesser teams. I know Conte.
On that, he's bang on.
Yeah, I know Conte has poor players, but he's not immune from criticism. Jay Ashraf, how you doing, buddy? Regardless of how crap Winks and Højbjerg are, they should be good enough to beat a championship level team. We'll come on to that in a second because I want to make a point on that. Kuva, same cycle as always: blame player, blame manager, chairman, and gets away with it like a cartoon villain.
Talks a lot of sense, that Kuva.
And Aaron Doyle, I don't think Conte is the man for us.
Big up, Aaron.
He would be if he was back, but he won't be. Bringing Christophe Gaultier from Nice, he took Lille from relegation to beat Poch's all-star team to the title.
Can I say one thing, Chris? Very quickly. Just very quickly. Just a quick message to Aaron. Sorry I haven't been responding to your voice notes, brother. It's just been batshit crazy the last week and a bit. So I apologise. I will respond to you today or tomorrow, and we'll meet up for sure when I'm back in June. Sorry, Chris.
Excellent. But in his comment there with Christophe Gaultier, you'll just have the same problem that Poch had after maybe 5 years. Need a rebuild, don't get one. But yeah, Mark, in terms of Jay Ashraf's comment here, Winks and Højbjerg should be good enough to beat a championship level team. It goes to what Brian was saying, the attitude. And then slightly disagreeing with Kuva in terms of the youngsters. They're going to be hungry to impress your Whites, your Devines, your Scarlets, because they want to get into that team. So it was not a perfect game, but it was a perfect opportunity, I think, to give certainly White, who can pass the ball and do what I want and have a
And take a free kick.
and Scarlett. And what you'd have with Scarlett then is you've got free rein then for Kane to drop deep, whether he wants to or not.
What if Conte just doesn't believe in them? Conte looks in training and says these players are not good enough. If they're not, a 50% Winks is better than a White. What if he think? I mean, he knows how to judge players. Conte. Let's face it, he knows.
But 100% Winks hasn't been working, Mark. So would you have played the youngsters there? Would you have just?
We had this discussion the other night, didn't we, Tommy? And he's already said he's not going to give gifts to players. A lot of what Tommy just said there. If he isn't performing, we don't know. I'm not saying that he isn't performing in training, but if he isn't seeing what he wants to see from White or Scarlett or anyone else, he ain't going to play them. I was happy to see the lineup. I'll be honest with you. I was happy to see us go strong. I was happy to see us go strong. So it would be wrong of me to say I would have liked to have seen Devine, White, Scarlett play, because I thought it was refreshing that Galini didn't start like we've seen other managers do in cups, and we're going, you've just fucking thrown the game, you know? So,
Mark, can I ask you a question? Mark, just your opinion on that, because it was a strong lineup, but if you look at it, it was a strong lineup for Leeds to counteract what Leeds were playing. Middlesbrough obviously play a different brand of football. Yes, it was a strong lineup because it was the same Premier League lineup, but do you reckon it was the strongest lineup to play Boro?
See, for me, when we're going about formations and stuff like that, I quite like that. I understand what you're saying about if it's not working, we need to change the formation, but I like the fact that he's got a formation and he tries to coach the players around it. He tells them exactly where he wants them to be. I like that. I don't mind him persisting with that, because he needs to see what players can do it and what players don't. So next season, the ones that he wants to keep know exactly what their job is for next season. When Conte come in, I pretty much wrote off this season. I didn't think, before he come in, I didn't think we'd be anywhere near even Europa League spots. So Champions League was a million miles away. To be anywhere near it, I think, for me, is a massive achievement. So I don't mind him keep going with this formation. That's he's won titles with it. He needs to know who can do it, who can't, and then it's about whether he gets backed or not, isn't it? And I know we've all got our own opinions on that. So that's the way I see things personally.
He certainly has no choice but to play 3-4-3 at the moment. He can't go 3-5-2, can he? We've only got two centre midfielders.
Doesn't have it.
We've only got two centre midfielders, so we almost certainly have to go to that. We saw four at the back briefly for 20 minutes. That certainly didn't work. So 3-4-3 has to be the way.
Yeah, maybe we've got Skip and Bentaker back. He can try.
It's a different situation,
and I think that he will. But we're just not in a position at the minute where he can do that formation. So hopefully he will, because we have looked better. I'm sure we played against Liverpool, didn't we? We played really well. I know we only drew, but we created so many chances in that game.
But again, I think that's because they attack us. I think we've got a real problem with teams sitting back, because I don't think we're quick enough.
We have.
You know, we've got Winks and Højbjerg in the middle. Let me get a few comments, Kuva. Winks is not good enough to beat a championship level team. Simply ace. He's a League One player at top, so would not be good enough to get into the Middlesbrough team. What does he do well? Mark Cousins, surely any of the youngsters are better than Winks. I reckon I am, and I'm 51.
It's all good and well. It's all good and well making Winks the scapegoat.
Yeah, he's not.
There are a lot of players. There are a lot of players that are not good enough.
He's been a scapegoat
for every game. When things are going well, nobody was talking about Winks. Nobody was talking about Winks when things were going well.
Yeah, the Everton game, the Everton game 4-4, and it was Højbjerg who started in. Winks was flat.
Winks was there. Winks was there for the Leicester victory. Winks was there for the Leicester victory. Winks was there for the Brighton victory. So it's not good using one player as a scapegoat.
But no, this is the thing. What you got to remember with Harry Winks, and this is what I say about Harry Winks. Harry Winks, when you're playing a team like a Leeds, like a Leicester, like a Liverpool, where he had a good game, when these and Brighton, when these teams come to play football, Harry Winks can play in these games, and Harry Winks can do a good job in these games. Which is, listen, everyone, the main aim of football and everything you do in life is play to your strengths. Harry Winks' strength is playing those type of games. When it comes to games like a Boro, like a Burnley, like a Wolves, they're like his kryptonite. If you saw there was that one moment, I'm just very brief to about this one moment, and it perfectly summed up. I think it was in the first half of extra time or the very end of the second half, where he passed the ball to a Middlesbrough player, who passed it back out, and the guy went charging down the wing, and Harry Winks tried to nudge him, and he completely missed him. That just sums up what Harry Winks does in these games, and that's no fault of Harry Winks. He's good in certain games, and he should play in these games where he can have an influence. But in these games where we've seen every single time he comes up short, the simple thing is to say, this isn't your style of game. It's like when we had Rafa van der Vaart, the great Rafa van der Vaart, who I idolise. He should never, ever have played against Stoke. Ever. Because whenever he played against Stoke, he's one of these guys that were trying these little flicks, tricks, and trying to be clever, and you can't do that at Stoke. You can't do that because they'll just go, bang, they'll just have you on toast all day long. So it's game management. And I reckon if there was a player, if there was a skip available, if there was a Bentancur available, maybe Winks would have been dropped out for these games because it's not his style of game. And because the squad is so bare, he has to. And that's not me throwing a bomb at the owner or anything. That is fundamentally, with the injuries we've got and the players that he's got available to him for these games,
They had no choice.
He's got exactly. We're all saying we want to. We're all saying we want to see a 3-5-2. We have two fit midfielders. You can't
we didn't
play.
lose this game. Yeah, we didn't lose this game because of Winks. We lost
We
this
didn't.
game because
we
disrespected Middlesbrough for a club that are they're Premier League form. They're getting to the Premier League. They're second in the table of form in the Championship. We disrespected them.
That part I'm not disputing, but what happens when Winks has a good game against the Leeds and stands out like that? Ball to Sessegnon was fantastic for the first goal.
100% agree, Brian. 100% agree.
It's not even spoken about. They speak about Sessegnon's great ball into the Doherty, but there's nothing about the weight of pass, the vision, and everything that Harry Winks did to set that. It was fantastic, but that's what he can do when he's allowed to play his game. But when he's not allowed to play his game, and it's a Middlesbrough, the reason he gets it is yes, he has been scapegoated for a very, very, very long time. But when he does something like what I just said, losing the ball, trying to make that foul and it didn't come off, it stands out like a sore thumb. It stands out because you've got the people that attack him, and you've got the people. That's the thing. He fundamentally, and this is not me disrespecting Harry Winks. This is not me saying I don't want to see Harry Winks in a Spurs shirt again. I'd rather not, because I think there's better out there. But that's not because I don't like Harry Winks. He cannot play in these games because it's like playing with 10 men.
But I think you can still play him and win the game. You can still play him and win the game. For me, it's not fundamentally down to playing Winks. We talk about we had scapegoats in the past and we got rid of them all. Aurier, Sissoko, Ndombele, Dele, Gio. These were the scapegoats. They've gone. We've still got a team there, and it's still not good enough. It's quality all over the pitch. It's not just Winks. It's quality all over the pitch. Emerson came on, and him keeping the Middlesbrough boys on side as badly as he did, won Middlesbrough the game. We could have took it into penalties. We could have taken it into later on. But it's not just Winks, and Winks has been there for games we've won as well. I don't like him. I want him gone in the summer. But if we keep turning it just to one player, we keep doing it, then we get rid of the players. But the results are still the same. So fundamentally, there's a lack of quality all over the pitch.
Yeah, and let's read a couple of comments here before we move on to Everton. So, Jay Ashraf, why did Conte not learn his lessons from the Burnley game and prepping for the Boro game? Like Brian said, just doesn't have the options, and like Tommy said, doesn't trust the youngsters to come in. Iggy, elite managers have their style of play that's brought them success. He needs the players this summer so he can finally call it his team. Capitals, this is not Conte's team or players. Whether that changes in the summer, we'll have to wait and see. Simply Ace said, Harry Winks can only play his game when he's put under zero pressure and there's lots of space in behind the defences. That goes into what Brian's saying. And then Coover, to be fair, Tommy, I'd say the entire squad only has 4 players worth keeping, possibly 2 more with Benta and Kulu, and Skip with the potential to be great. Winks is just the most regular poor performer. I'm not sure about that. I think there's quite a few regular poor performers.
You got to throw Emerson in there.
It's just Doherty and Emerson don't play every game, whereas Winks has had a run of games. And Iggy, how many of those players that played the other night would you give more than a 4 out of 5 out of 10? Let's move on to Everton now, Alan. Everton, I disagree with Brian here in the sense that they won't attack us because I think they need.
You're wearing a red shirt.
they need the point. So I think they will attack us, and Lampard is an attacking manager. That they won't be as open as Leeds, but I could go round my house estate, get 11 players, pick a team, and still wouldn't be as open as Leeds. So I think they will attack us, and I think that works for us because they won't sit back. But Alan, what do you think? What do you expect for the Everton game? I'm not sure if Alan's still there.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, can I
I've got to go, Chris. I was
Can
just about to chuck you a message.
Yeah,
Go chuck you a message in the private
You
chat.
mentioned me.
Go on, Brian. You can argue with Mr. Veg.
So I'm like, red rag.
Boys, I've got to go. Boys, can I just say I've got to go? I've got a dentist appointment. Can't be late.
2:30.
So,
2:30.
Very good. Very good.
Just before you go, Tommy talks ball. Give it
about 2:15. About 2:15.
Almost 2:30.
I did tell you beforehand. I did mention to Chris beforehand. It isn't like off the.
I wasn't expecting 6 people on here. It's been absolutely brilliant having 6 people on here. But yeah, it's
can I just give a prediction? Obviously, before I go, can I just give a prediction? I'm going 4-1. I'm going to go with the great Bob Spur. We're at home. It's the first game I'm going to for a while. So 4-1. 4-1 to the Spurs. Come on,
and just
boys.
Before you go, Tommy, Tommy Talks Ball. Where can people find that? Your channel?
Yeah, man. Yeah, as you can see there on the little piece there, Tommy Talks Ball, which is my Twitter handle as well. So you go to the Twitter handle, see my YouTube channel. You can subscribe from there. Not before you subscribe to this brilliant channel. 8 away from 200. It's a milestone. It's a big milestone. So make sure if you're watching and haven't subscribed to Chris, make sure you subscribe. Can I just say later on 7:30, I'm doing my first. It's going to sound crazy. Transfer stream. I'm calling it blockbuster transfers.
You're preparing quicker than us.
There you go. There you go. You got to be proactive, man. You got to be proactive. I've also got manager shortlists. No, I'm joking. Right. Cheers, boys. In a bit.
Just before you go, Tommy. Just before you go, Tommy. You're still a wanker for the other night on the quiz, mate.
Oh, mate. Talking dogs. As long as that wasn't dog-related,
Is he being the dog's bollocks or what?
Oh, by the way, before I forget, and sorry to go on a tangent. Remember the last quiz with Trump?
Yeah.
About being a fart.
Yeah, where I got the point with Trump, meaning fart.
Yeah.
There's a American girl who lives over here that puts these YouTube videos about what Americans, and one of the things is what words mean different things in England to different things in America. And she mentioned Trump. She says, Trump, we think it's of our ex-president, but it actually means fart. Sort of thing.
Don't tell him that. He'd be looking for that for quiz bloody questions.
The greatest quiz show host of all time, aren't you, Tommy?
It's education. It's education as well. Nobody knew the Twitter bird was called Larry. Everyone does now. Right. On that note, I'm off.
Now my life is Tommy. Okay, so yeah, going back to, I want to argue with Mr. Redshirt over there. Mr.
I'll just put a few comments up. Zenedine will be in the lane. Dele Alli will come to him in a minute.
He'll be brilliant. He'll be brilliant,
You can see it already. Dele or Townsend to score the winner.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Hoover saying totally agreed. There's loads of poor performers. Winks just on show. And Chris Agenbar, probably the only prediction that's possibly going to be right. I predict Tommy to get a filling.
First of all, big up Chris Agenbar. I'm going to get back to you. I promised you I needed to give you a response to deserve the respect of the message, so you're going to get that. But yeah, the reason I say Everton are going to be like a Boro, like a Wolves, like a Burnley, is teams that are in a relegation dogfight. And let's face it, right now, Everton are in a relegation dogfight. The way they look at it, when they come to the teams that are higher up the league or in the higher part of the top half, whatever, they're happy to get a point. They're happy to get a point. What their focus is obviously mainly to get 3 points against the teams around them. They will take the points around especially away from home, against the teams above, like severely above them and not a direct threat. And they'll conserve everything for 3 points against a Burnley, against a Watford, against a Newcastle, against a Brentford. And I believe they've got a few of them coming up, which are huge to them. So I reckon, as much as Frank Lampard is a very attacking manager, he's very clever. He is a very clever man when it comes to his football intelligence, as he showed as a player. And I think he's setting them up. He's going to set them up for the first half. Just go frustrate them. Just go frustrate them, because the way things are going, especially after Boro, the place could get very. I don't want to use the word toxic, but the anxiety within the stadium on Monday could really start to play in Everton's hand. And then if they get a goal, he will be like, just sit back, and just let Tottenham do what they've got to do, and we'll struggle. So that's the only reason. Next season, if Everton is still in the Premier League and we start the season, he'll come out all guns blazing. But right now, for the predicament Everton are in, is the only reason I say that they're going to go very, very Middlesbrough and Wolves kind of style, and Burnley.
Yeah. I think if they score first, I think you're absolutely right. They sit back. Whether they've got the players to be able to do that as good as Middlesbrough, Burnley, not sure on that. But my girlfriend's dad's a Chelsea fan, and he said when he was manager at Chelsea against teams like Man United, when it was close, he went attacking and they got killed off. I mean, it's very, very easy to suggest now, and very possibly the case. He's learned that lesson, so he will do what Brian says. I just think they'll attack. They've got too many attacking players.
You're an old chap.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll go to Alan. Alan, what do you expect for the Everton game coming up? And yeah, Everton. Kuva said Everton are struggling to get wins. Sounds like a case for ...
Spurs.
I'm imagining Dr. Spurs is incoming in the comments. But yeah, Alan, what do you expect for the game?
The only thing I can hope for is Everton have been struggling away and doing better at home of recent. And it's a case of it's hoping that they're going to come and struggle, because as I say, they are going to sit back. They're either going to sit back or they're going to do one of the biggest things we struggle with even more than anything, and that is have a low block but press high. And if they press us high, they'll win the ball. They'll score a goal. They will do. We just haven't got the strength to hold teams off. You know, we were all going on a while back saying we can't believe we're saying we missed Dyer. You know, he has helped that defence to start conceding a little bit less. But unfortunately, we haven't got it up front. I mean, it's embarrassing to think, as Brian was saying earlier before I had to slip away quickly. These players struggling to play 2 games a week. Did any of you boys watch the show last night?
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone watch it?
I saw
Stevie Perrin, 66 games in a season. 66. 66 games. You know, that's...
And there weren't the substitutions all the time when they were playing.
Oh, no. And they had one sub in them days, Mark. One sub allowed. You know, one substitution, 66 games.
And they were kicked a lot more as well.
Yeah, Jimmy Greaves famously
and they didn't play on a carpet.
No.
Compared to today, today's game is playing on a carpet. Yeah, you'll have.
Yeah, but Alan, you're forgetting. Back in those days, mate, they had the bucket and the magic sponge. There's not so much in the you missed out that.
And the slice of orange at half time. And a slice of orange at half time. That one.
There you go.
Yeah, Iggy says here, we will attack them from the off line, trying to score first 15, 20 minutes. If we score in that time, then I can see us going on to win it. If not, going to be a long night. And Carla's Winks is so bad, I'd rather put Dyer back in midfield until the players are fit again. I'm not sure about that. But in terms of Iggy's comment, Mark, are we attacking from the off, or are we struggling from the off, or Everton attacking from the off, or are they sitting back from the off? Where do you think that the game will...
I'll be totally honest. I don't watch enough of Everton under Lampard to say, to be honest with you, what they would do. I don't really know how they're playing under Lampard, if I'm being completely honest. I know they're struggling. I don't see us doing anything different than what we normally do, really, to be honest with you. We'll play exactly the same way, which isn't totally sitting back. We'll look for opportunities, won't we? That's how he plays. He'll look for opportunities, not necessarily counter-attacking, but he'll just look for when there's an opportunity there. That's when we attack, and that's what we'll do. To be honest with you, it's not going to be we're going to go all out attack and he's going to change his system. He's not going to do that. So we've just got to get used to the way that he plays, really, and so do the players. And I don't have an issue with that.
No. And Simply Ace and Aaron Doyle kind of agree. I think Everton are going to attack us as Simply Ace and dominate possession. We'll hit them on a counter-attack. Tottenham 1, Everton 2. Dele to score twice from individual errors. I think if they attack us, we win the game. And Aaron, Everton
let me say this, right? Let me just say this. Dele Alli is not going to score against us, right? If Dele Alli scores against us, I will give everyone here, so Brad, Brian, Alan, Chris, I'll donate £10 to a charity of your choice. If Dele Alli scores, come back to me and I'll donate. Not that I don't, I just don't believe it. I don't mind giving £10 to charity. So if he does, I'll give £10 to charity of all your choices. He ain't gonna score.
Is there a charity of not wearing a red shirt on a Spurs channel?
And Mark, that'll be the Tottenham on Tour Foundation.
Okay, mate. Ask me the details and I'll send it your way, mate.
Just because of a wardrobe error, I'm being insulted on my own.
Well, no. It's not a wardrobe. It's not a wardrobe error. It's a wardrobe malfunction. What the hell? What the hell? The fact you don't have a red t-shirt.
I seem to remember not to throw you under the bus, Mark. When you were on Tommy's show, you wore a red top as well. I don't remember getting any flack.
That was for cancer, children with cancer. I was running a marathon, if you remember.
You couldn't let me have it.
Also, I actually wore a red t-shirt the other day, but that was an England shirt. And I just come back from 7-a-side football, so yeah, there are reasons you can just about get away with wearing a red shirt. I don't know what yours is.
Not for me. I don't have one red bit of clothing. I won't use a red pen. My dad had a red courtesy card delivered to him when his car needed MOT. He said, "Well, you can send that back." So yeah, the red allegiance or non-red allegiance in this family is deep.
Okay, I know the feeling, Bri. I'm the same.
You must have a problem travelling on buses in London, then, Brian.
He never posts any letters. He never posts letters.
I get someone to do that for me.
A lot of comments.
Listen, I have to say, there's a difference for me wearing something red and then getting in something red. I can't. My wife wears red. I don't say you can't wear that. It's my problem.
Couple of comments I'm going to put on. I'm not too keen on them because they're tempting fate. Dele couldn't score in a brothel. Dele will come back for only one game because it's Dr. Tottenham. Iggy, Mark 2, Chris 0. And a lot of laughing about that. Coover saying the magic sponge treatment is the most effective medical treatment known to man. I even finished the game with a broken dislocated shoulder rather than face it a second time. But Brad, just before we come on to a couple of more comments and kind of wrap it up, you have a question here from the worst person on Tottenham YouTube, me. How do you see the game going?
On Monday, Jesus! You know what?
That well.
Everyone knows, or most people that know me on these streams, I'm a fairly pessimistic Tottenham supporter through 50 odd years of supporting them. And the banned word, the Spursy thing. But this season, I've really tried after bad to let's be really positive. No, we're going to win. We're going to win. And I've got to a stage now where I can't be positive anymore. This season, I'm just really. Yeah, I just can't be positive anymore. And this is the thing. I was watching a little bit of We Are Tottenham TV before coming on the stream, and they were talking about what Everton, could do to Tottenham, and we might do this, and this might be bad, that might be bad. And then I think Ben said, I can't believe that we're talking negatively about a game, playing a team that are struggling against relegation, and we're playing at home, and yet we're all negative about it. And I know what he's saying, but unfortunately, I'm thinking the same way. I'm thinking the same way. I won't go as far as say we'll lose on Monday, but I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be about 1-1. I think we've all seen it before. Everton will score. We'll be insipid for 80 minutes or 85 minutes. Then we'll score the equaliser and then be absolutely brilliant for the last 5 minutes and throw everything forward. Then we get up, and then go out with the 1-1 draw. Yeah. But yeah, I really. It's getting too much for me now this season. It really is. I can't see us getting anywhere near top 4. Yeah, we can. Of course we can. Mathematically, we can. The teams that are around us aren't doing any much better. But I can't see us being consistent. And as everyone keeps saying, winning the big games. You can see us being 2 points clear in 4th position, playing, I think it's Burnley at home and Norwich away in the last 2 games, and then somehow screwing it up. I've seen it so many times before. The only time I haven't seen it was probably the 2016-17 season under Pochettino, the last one at White Hart Lane. That's the only time in ever watching Spurs that we've ever been consistent. And I apologise to anyone for saying that and coming across as being really negative, but that's how I feel. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
Yeah. And last question before we get into the predictions. I do have to go in about 10 minutes, and try not to laugh at this. but it is a genuine question. What will the reaction to Dele be when he comes on or starts? My dad asked me this. I think he'll be booed. But Brad, do you think he'll get a good reception for what he did in the 16-17, or do you think he'll get bad?
I don't think he'll be booed. I think he'll get a good reception. Look, Tottenham are the sort of crowd, brilliant crowd. We got the greatest fans ever. But we're the sort of crowd that will actually sing the Dele Alli song as he's warming up, So that'd be. But no, I think he'll get a good reception, and then once the game kicks off, then hopefully it's just another opposition player.
Yeah. Brian, you're nodding there. You agree?
No.
Oh.
No. I agree that we've got the greatest fans. It's hard for me to really comment on this. I'm going to, but I was so happy when he left. People would have known me for the last 6 months going, I cannot wait for this guy to go. We signed a footballer who liked gaming, and we sold an expert gamer who occasionally decides to play football. Listen, the first 2 seasons he was there, he was phenomenal. He was outstanding. I put his decline down to the fact that we pushed him back into midfield because we wouldn't buy a person to play in midfield. So that was a start of it. And then his attitude. His attitude over the last 6 months was disgusting. Then, since he's gone to Everton, I don't know if people have seen the social media thing he released where he's put it on social media where he's going. There's a part where there's someone dubbing it. He goes, "I escaped from the police," and he's put, "I escaped Tottenham," which obviously wouldn't have gone. I'll show it right now. Let me get it on my thing.
You haven't seen that.
I'll show you right now. It's him being stupid with his Everton teammates. Where is it? I'm going to 1 second. But whilst I'm finding it, give me a second, Ryan.
Mark, quickly, while Brian's finding
it. I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it.
I thought cut off. Come back.
1 second. Yeah, you give me like literally 20. I'll carry on. So here it is. So where is it? Okay, right. Tell me if you can. Right, you can see that, yeah. But basically, he's saying I escaped. So you'll see when it goes back to the first bit. Now you see where it says I escaped from Spurs.
Yeah.
So he's done. So that's gonna. And you know what?
I didn't see that, Brad.
It is. I'll send it to you, Brad. So in his last few months, I refused to clap him. I refused to sing his name, but I also refused to boo him. So I wouldn't boo him. But when he comes out or hear his name, I wouldn't have been going, "Yay, Dele, woo, Dele." So I think there are a lot of fans like myself that are just, what have you done with your career? You've thrown it all away. But then there are going to be a lot of people that appreciate what he did at the very, very beginning. So it's hard for me to gauge. Like I said, I wouldn't boo him, but I wouldn't be clapping or singing his name.
Yeah, I still think. I agree that we had to sell him, and that he's been rubbish for 2 or 3 seasons. But I still think he'll get a decent reception. I'm not sure it's going to be everyone going mad, but I think he'll get a good.
Not like Aaron Lennon coming back or something like that.
Yeah.
Mark,
I'll be quick, Chris. Chris. I know you're in a rush, so yeah, I think he'll. I know. I agree with Brad. I think he'll be applauded, and I think his song will probably be sung as well. That's what I think.
Alan, what were your thoughts?
I think it's a case of depends on how many people from Twitter are there. You know what I mean? Twitter, if Twitter turn up, then so like he's going to get slaughtered. If I understand what you were saying, Bri, but if when he played his last game, as he was walking around the pitch off against Wickham. Still singing, "We got Dele, Dele," you know. So I can't see him getting too bad a reaction. There will be.
I don't think he'll get a bad reaction. No. I just don't think it's going to be, "Oh my God, look at the Messiah," or like a Nedley King or a Dawson or Tom Huddleston or people that have.
If too many people have seen what you've seen, then it could change. You know what I mean? It could change. If too many people see that. It could change.
I only saw his tweet when he left, which Sky Sports, being typical Sky Sports, left out the bit about thanking the fans.
Yeah.
Which he did do in his tweet.
Yeah, well, Aaron Doyle has said here, regarding Dele, had the potential to be a world beater, more interested in fame and boohoo deals and computer games and whatever. And Dan, THFC, how are you doing, Dan? We can't take that to heart, though. I'm sure he's talking about the video and what Brian just showed, just him being dumb on social media. But yeah, lastly, Brad, predictions. I don't give a score. I can't. It's too much tempting fate.
I don't do anymore.
With a blue shirt, white shirt, or red shirt, I stick to that. So what I will say is I think Everton will attack us because they need the points, and that's how Lampard plays. And I think we'll win. But yeah, yourself.
Well, as I said, I'm going for 1-1 with us scoring an equaliser with 5-10 minutes to go, and then suddenly going all out to try and get the winner, which we should have done from kick-off. And by the way, I've got a blue shirt and a blue sofa.
Yeah.
And Brian, predictions?
From a blue shirt wearing guy. Well said, Brad. If I was downstairs like Brad, I'd have a blue sofa as well. Listen, I was asked on Tottenham, We Are Tottenham TV just before. My heart is saying 2-1. My head is saying 1-1. But as all Spurs fans have to do, I'm going with my heart. My heart's going to overrule my head. So I'm going to go 2-1, but a very, very hard fall.
Excellent. And Mark?
I'm wearing a fluorescent green jumper. Believe it or not, it actually is a Tottenham jumper. It's got.
I saw when you went out to get it, it said N17 on the back.
Yeah, and I have got a blue sofa behind me as well, but I won't bother showing it. I'm going 2-0 Tottenham. But my last predictions against Wolves, Southampton, Leeds, Middlesbrough, and Burnley have all been incorrect. So I'm sorry in advance.
Just a quick question: has anyone on here actually got a score prediction right? Not the result, the actual score.
Unfortunately, yes.
No.
I said Burnley were going to beat us 1-0 on Spurs Eurasian.
So don't just
I'm
ask
not doing
Alan.
any.
Yeah, just ask Alan if we're going to win or lose.
I've got a lot of scores to right, apart from I've got a lot of scores correct. Well, they're correct apart from the other way, wrong way round.
Yeah.
And Alan, I'll cut you off quickly. I'm a disgrace for a red shirt. So your prediction.
Yeah. I'm not making one. I just said I'm not making one because last time I made one was Spurs Eurasian and I got it right.
Okay. Audio Artisan can do the prediction for you, and he's gone 4-3 Spurs. Going to be a banger. I'm not sure I can cope with that, but yeah, it's been excellent talking to you guys, Tommy as well. But Brad, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Chris. No problem.
Welcome anytime. And Brian, thanks so much for coming on. And your channel, Tottenham on Tour, everyone should know about that now. It's got about 3,000 more subscribers in about a month. But for anyone who doesn't know, where can people find it?
Yeah, they can find me and Brian Ireland and Adam Clark and obviously Danny Kiriak at Tottenham on Tour. We're just over 4,000 subscribers now. The next one we will be doing will be me and Brian Ireland together at a pub that Brad will be getting taken to in May, the Scotland Yard, where we're going to do like a load of stuff at the pub, interview people before the game at half time, yada, yada, yada. But the most important thing I'm doing when people ask me what channel, I'd love you to come and subscribe to me if you don't already subscribe to my channel, our channel, shall I say. Most importantly, once this stream finishes, type in the YouTube search Bob Spur TV. And subscribe to that great man, my brother, my best friend, who is on such a big road to recovery. And he will be back soon. He will be back soon. And the crown jewel of the Tottenham Crown is coming up. It is coming back. And that's where everyone should be going because the superstar will be back. And when he's back, believe me, you'll thank me for subscribing if you haven't already. So subscribe to Bob Spur TV before you subscribe to Tottenham on Tour.
Absolutely. And Alan, Shelfside Spurs, and a big show for you yesterday, Steve Perryman on.
Yeah.
Where can people find your channel?
Well, Shelfside Spurs. on YouTube, just like yourselves. Yeah, we was really pleased last night. I think we had a pretty good audience. It looked like it. A little bit. Thought we might have hit a bit more. We got 11 extra subs last night, but that's 11 more than we had before. So, but yeah, really enjoyed it. That man is a legend, and I'm still recovering from it now.
And Mark, no YouTube channel, but you do have a podcast. I know you don't like promoting it. But
it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just we never really record anything, so it's just fucking pointless. But yeah, we do Emotion Pod Mac runs that, so go follow that. There's a link there and everything else. But to subscribe to everyone else. And Brian, Bob must be on the men because I see him tweeting about neighbours earlier. So he's definitely.
He was tweeting about how his dad. I think it was how his dad used to love it. But yeah, I don't know if people saw my tweet. I'll just quickly show you. It'll be a nice way to end. I was with him yesterday to say goodbye to him. Obviously, I'm going back to Toronto on Sunday. The time has come, so. I was with him, and that picture was taken.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice one.
So it's good to be there. But, mate, he's in the physio ward, and they said no visitors. I was like, well, fuck that. No, I'm not seeing him before I go back. So I gave him whole palaver that I'm going back to Canada, and I've flown over, and there's no. Okay, you can come in, but only half an hour because there's no visitors in this ward. Gets to the ward, every motherfucker has got a visitor. Every single. There must be a lot of people coming back to Canada with me. But yeah, it even says no visitors on the. It says no visitors on the actual ward door, but everyone's allowed a visitor. So, but yeah, it was great to see him, and he
looks better, mate. He looks visibly better from the photos that I've seen before. He looks.
All I will say with him, and I won't go into his mental aspect, his personality, his everything like that. Is firing back on A1 like nothing happened. He's still got a lot of physio and rehab to do. He can stand, but he hasn't walked for 3 months. Walking is a huge issue, so he's learning that again. But the main thing is that will all come back. That's muscle memory and just physio. But the main aspect was obviously, was it going to be long-term damage to mental or personal? All that is firing like it's never gone away.
Good.
Excellent. It's great to see him on Spurs comment sections on YouTube and on Twitter as well. And he'll be back soon. But yeah, thanks to everybody who was on. Tommy as well, who had to leave a little bit earlier. Everyone's Twitter handles and YouTube links or podcast links are in the description. So please hit like, please hit subscribe on here. Get me up to 200 subscribers, and then go on to everyone else's. Hit the likes, hit the subscribes, follow them on Twitter, and all of that. And like Brian says, go and do the same for Bob as well on Bob Spur TV. Not here on Monday. I'm going to the game on Monday, so I never get internet at the ground, so there's no point in me doing anything. So I'll be back next Friday. Hopefully it'll be a positive one after a win against Everton, and then can look forward to another win against who we're playing on the following weekend.
Man United.
Right. Well, they'll attack us. They'll attack us, so that might be okay. But it'll be at Old Trafford. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, going to put the outro on in a second. The intro didn't work too well, so hopefully this works a bit better. But yeah, until next time, which will be next Friday. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on.
Thank you so much for watching, for everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments. Before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @Talk Tottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!